Hello, everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna get this kicked off and started. Just so you guys know, I have some notes because I have a lot of things to go over this week, and I hope it really helps you because I've been getting a lot of questions on exactly how to heal from their traumatic experiences. So we are gonna get into that. I'm gonna go over the 5 steps that you can take. But first I want to get into exactly what emotional and psychological trauma is. This is a kind of trauma that's a result of a really stressful event, or events, like can be multiple, that really shatter your sense of safety and security. So traumatic experiences, they often involve a threat to your life or safety, but any situation that leaves you feeling unsafe or overwhelmed and isolated can actually result in trauma. So it doesn't always have to involve physical harm. And if you're subjected to an emotional experience of an event, that determines how traumatic it is to you. So it depends on how you view a certain event, like how you think of it. If you feel unsafe or overwhelmed in any way, sense, or form, that can be a traumatic event to you. So the more frightened and helpless that you feel in a situation, that can determine if it's a traumatic event for you. So I want to go through some of the things that actually can cause emotional and psychological trauma. A lot of people may miss some of these. Some of these might be obvious, but I'm going to go through them. So these can be one-time events, something like a car accident, an injury, or a violent attack, especially if it was unexpected or it happened in your childhood. Some other things that can cause emotional trauma are ongoing relentless stress. Such as living in like a crime-ridden neighborhood, battling a life-threatening illness like cancer, or taking care of someone who's battling a life-threatening illness that you love very much, experiencing traumatic events that occur repeatedly over and over, such as like bullying or domestic violence or childhood neglect or childhood abuse. Some commonly overlooked things that people may not think cause trauma, actually surgery, especially if it's in the first 3 years of your life, the sudden death of someone very close to you, the breakup of a significant relationship, or a really deeply humiliating, disappointing experience, especially if someone was deliberately cruel to you. So another one is actually coping with a man-made or natural disaster. So these can present kind of unique challenges even if you weren't directly involved in this. And a good example of this is like shootings that are happening, feeling unsafe just going out your door because of all the shootings that may happen, or like things like 9/11. And then viewing these images over and over and over again on social media and the news, they can actually overwhelm your nervous system and create traumatic stress. So traumatic events can happen. I mean, they can happen to anyone, obviously, but you're more likely to actually be traumatized and re-traumatized if you've had a traumatic experience as a child. And childhood trauma, that can result from anything that disrupts a child's feeling of safety. And that includes an unstable or unsafe environment, separation from a parent, even if it's a short amount of time. If that child feels unsafe when the parent leaves, then that can cause that child to feel unsafe, and that can be a traumatic experience for them. Serious illness, intrusive medical procedures, sexual, physical, or verbal abuse, domestic violence, and neglect. Some symptoms of psychological and emotional trauma. You guys probably know most of these because I post about them a lot. But some of the emotional and psychological symptoms that you may have are shock, denial, or disbelief, confusion, difficulty concentrating, anger, irritability, maybe some mood swings, anger and fear, guilt, shame, or self-blame, withdrawing from others, isolating yourself, feeling sad or hopeless, depression, anxiety, feeling disconnected or numb. And then some physical symptoms, and these are very important too, because we don't just feel trauma emotionally. Trauma gets held in the body. So it's very important that you recognize the physical symptoms too. Some of those are like insomnia or nightmares, fatigue, being very tired throughout the day, being startled really easily, difficulty concentrating, racing heartbeat, edginess or really high agitation to things, aches and pains, and like severe muscle tension or even just regular muscle tension. But these are normal symptoms, and I don't want you to be hard on yourself when you experience some of these, because that's one of the parts of you that's protecting you. And I kind of want to get into, there's two different parts of us. The first part is our truest self. And this is the part of ourselves where we're very intuitive, where we have all these human needs for love, for desire, for purpose. It's the part of you that says, yeah, I really want to move. I really need to make a change. It's time to make a change. It's time to step out. That's the part of you that pushes you forward, that gets courageous, that says, hey, we need to do something here. And then there's this other part of you, which is your protective self. And some people call this a problem or a disorder, or that you're not functioning properly. But honestly, this is such a gorgeous part of you. And this is because this protective part of you has actually saved your life. Like literally saved your life. I mean, this is a part of you that goes into that fight or flight mode, where you start to feel things in your body, gives you that freeze response. I want you to realize how awesome this part of you is, because this part has stepped up and protected you. And think of this part of yourself as you really love yourself enough to protect yourself in this point. So this is a part of you that says, I love you so stinking much, I'm going to protect you from all these bad, horrible things that happen to you. And we need to integrate these two parts. So there needs to be kind of a happy balance between the two. Hi, Davey. And what others kind of teach, and you might hear this from other coaches, from personal development gurus or personal growth people, a lot of them will say, just keep showing up, just keep doing more, work hard, don't stop, keep pushing, keep pushing. And the reason why that doesn't work is because, so here you have your truest self. Your truest self is saying, hey, we need to lose some weight here. We need to get healthier. We need to eat right. We need to do all this stuff. And your protective self is like, oh, heck no, that's not safe. You're going to die. You can't do that. And your truest self is like, yeah, but we're going to do it. And we're going to try this. And we're going to start eating good. And we're going to start exercising every day. And we're going to do all this stuff. And it'll be going great for maybe about 2-3 weeks. And then all of a sudden, your protective self comes in and is like, nope, this isn't safe. We don't feel safe. You might die. We're going to bring in all the military and we're going to shut this down. So then your protective self shuts everything down. And you'll feel it in your body. Like it takes over. It literally takes over. So you might find that you keep fighting with both of these parts of yourself. And they make you feel stuck because you keep getting in that cycle And they make you feel, your protective self might make you feel shame because you fail, but I want you to understand that that's what's happening, and that those reactions are so normal and it's so perfect. Like, that's how you're responding because of your traumatic experiences. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? That's not a disorder. That's normal. That's how our bodies work. That's how our nervous system works. It's protecting you. That's what it's there for. Our bodies are there to protect us. Our bodies are super smart. Our brains are super smart. So when you actually learn to heal your from your trauma, that's when you can integrate both those parts and make them work together. And when that happens, it's so gorgeous and it's so beautiful. And you will actually finally be able to push through and push past those blocks and be able to make your protective self feel comfortable enough to let you achieve your goals, so that you're not so afraid that you won't do it. Okay, so let's dig in to the steps that you can take to start the healing process. So number one, and I posted this in the group today with a picture about healing depression and anxiety, and I wrote down all of these steps, but I'm going to dig into them just a little bit deeper to help you guys out. So the first one is to get moving. Trauma actually disrupts our body's natural equilibrium. So, and it freezes you in this state of like hyper arousal and fear. Like, it puts you on alert. Like, you're just tense and you can't move, or you do move and you're really jittery and you can't really do much. So exercise and movement, and I mean, along with releasing endorphins, which we all know is really good, it can actually help start to repair your nervous system, which is what we need to do to start healing. So number two is to get grounded and safe. Before we can start to heal, we need to actually feel safe in our environment to start the healing process. And to do that, we need to work from the ground up, not from up down, okay? So to feel grounded, you sit in a chair, sit in a spot, or you can stand, but feel the ground beneath you. Literally feel it beneath your feet. What works even better, and I've tried this sometimes, is I take my shoes off and I'll go outside and I'll stick my feet in the grass, on the ground, and I will just feel like connected to the ground, to the earth, and realize that I'm here, I'm safe, it's okay. And then you want to take note of any surroundings, any colors. Pick out 5 colors. So this really helps if you have anxiety, you feel anxiety coming on. Getting grounded helps so much with anxiety and panic attacks. So what you do is you get grounded, just like I said, pick out 5 colors that you see around you, like blue, teal, brown, green, whatever colors that are around you. Notice those. And then breathe. Breathe and make a VU sound. So I talk about this helps calm your vagus nerve. And I talked about it before, where you breathe in for a count of like 8, and then you breathe out for a really long time. Another tip to do is breathe in and then exhale a long, low vibrational VU. So you inhale and go VU, and you do that for as long as you can, and that low vibration actually helps calm you. Gets you grounded, makes you feel safe, makes you feel present, because we need to get in that present moment. So the third part is to regulate your nervous system. And that is one of the things I just mentioned, which is breathing, doing that VU, and then sensory input. So realizing if there's any sights or smells or sounds that actually calm you, you can use those. Another thing to use is petting a cat or dog. If you have pets, if you have mental health animals. That's why they work so well, because petting animals actually calms people. So this can help regulate your nervous system. But the biggest part of this is allowing yourself to feel the feelings you're feeling. And I know this can be really scary. So if you're really, really scared and your protective self kind of wants to jump in and says, oh no, these feelings are far too scary. We need to shut this down. We need to push these feelings away. We can't feel them right now because they're way too scary. Go back, get grounded, get safe, get in a place where you can do this, because it takes some time. And the best thing about this is don't push through. Don't push too hard, because your protective self isn't going to let you, okay? So the biggest tip here is, instead of speeding up and trying to do more, the key is to do less. So take a step back and slow down. Get safe, get grounded, and then feel your feelings. Actually feel what they feel like in your body and accept them. That's the biggest thing. Accept them. Don't push them aside. Don't push them away. Don't think that they're bad. They're there for a reason. You're feeling them for a reason. Your body is trying to tell you something, and it's time that you finally listen. So that's what you need to do with regulating your nervous system, because until you actually can move through those emotions and through those feelings, that's when you really start the healing process, and you can speed it up that way. But again, don't move too fast. Don't push too hard. This takes time. So number 4 is don't isolate yourself. This is huge, because when we isolate ourselves, that makes our traumatic experiences worse. And we can actually find amazing healing in relationships. They can be a huge container for healing, especially the right relationships. And I'm talking about the right relationships here. I'm not talking about toxic relationships or abusive relationships. And you know those people that you have in your life that you need to stay away from. Those aren't the type of people you need to surround yourself to heal. Surround yourself with people who support you, who can help you heal through this, who can try and understand what you're going through, who can give you the space that you need to actually heal. So that can be done through a really close friend that you feel safe and confiding in, working with a therapist or a functional life coach. This can be writing in a journal. This can be surrounding yourself in a support group like this one and talking about what's going on. And the baby steps you can take to kind of overcome your fear is to kind of put yourself out there a little bit. And that takes baby steps again, like small steps, slow, do it less, okay? So step 5, this last one is self-care. And this doesn't have to cost a thing. I'm not talking self-care like go get your nails done and go get a massage and all this stuff. And you can do that. That's fine if you want. But don't just do that and do these other things, because they're so important as far as self-care goes, because this will help you build more trust with yourself. This will help you start to love yourself. This will start to help you actually put yourself first, because you should be putting yourself first. I know our protective self and our trauma brain tells us, no, we need to put everyone else first and please everyone else before that happens, but that's a whole nother hour-long discussion I could get into. So self-care, get back to that. This means getting plenty of sleep. This means drinking enough water, eating well, providing your body with the nutrients it needs, it wants. Doing step 1, which is exercise. Reducing your stress. I know that can seem counterintuitive is based on what we're talking about, because we're talking about reducing your stress, because you might have high stress or be in a high stress situation. Reduce it. You know, you're smart. You know what you need to do to reduce your stress. If that means saying no so that you're not taking on so many projects or not doing too much that pushes you to the brink of overwhelm. This might mean getting others to help you out. And then the other part is with self-care is setting boundaries. That's huge. Setting boundaries, which I will get into setting boundaries at another time, because that's another whole topic that would probably take me a little bit longer to cover. So, but yeah, tell me what you guys think of this training. If it helped you, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I will respond later. This video will be up in the group, so you guys will all be able to rewatch it if you need it. Also, if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, I do provide functional coaching. I do have a trauma-informed approach, and I'll provide a link in the comments below where you can get information on how to work with me one-on-one and what that all kind of entails. It does require an investment in yourself, but so worth it, like completely transformational. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, post any comments and questions in the comments below. Let me know if I see any questions. I'll go back through and I'll answer them all. And I will see you guys next week. All right? Bye.